Alright, so this video is going to show you how you might enter an RD note or a registered dietitian note. Now for the purposes of this video, I've gone ahead and logged in as a dietitian, and I've gone ahead and pulled up sample patient Ethan Lazarus. And you might notice right off the bat that the header looks a little bit differently. The way I have the header formatted for this user shows slightly different fields than what it showed for the logged in doctor, and that can be customized. So let's brush past that for now. We're already in the vital signs table, so you can see from the last video we had just finished entering patient's vital signs, and now maybe the patient is back with the dietitian, and the dietitian pulls the patient up and wants to enter her note. So we can go ahead and click on RD notes, and that'll take you to the RD notes table. Now in RD notes, you can see here's a list of all the RD notes, just showing a couple fields from the note. The date they were in, which meal plan they were on, the dietitian they saw, if they got a educational handout, and again, over time we may change exactly which fields are shown in this view. And in each of these notes you can click Edit if you want to change anything, or you can click View if you want to take a look at what was documented. So if we want to look at the last note and see what was documented, we can click View, and you can see that at this visit the patient was on a modified fast, saw Tracy. That's been signed off on, so this note is finished. Patient was doing well. You can see their food plan, but let's actually go in and we'll make a new note and we'll look at all those a little bit more closely. So we're back in Ethan Lazarus is the patient, registered dietitian notes, and we're just going to add a note. So when the patient comes into the room, you'll click Add. And immediately here you can see that the chart automatically put in today's date, and the chart automatically selected the food plan from what the patient was last on. So it looks at the last note and it brings that forward into this note and automatically populates that. So if that's changed, you can change their food plan. And it automatically populates the name of the person that's logged in. Digital signatures we're going to talk about a little bit later, but digital signature is going to be your unique signature so that you know that you signed this note. Once you sign off on a note, it will remain editable for a few days. The day variable can be changed. Initially we have this set at 7 days or 1 week, so if there was something you forgot or needed to add or change on your note, you can do that. But a week after you see the patient, the note can no longer be changed. It is locked. So at the end of your note, you can digitally sign it. Usually I'd recommend you wait until you're done with your note before you sign it. If for any reason you just save your note or leave or do something else, the system will track any unsigned notes, and it'll give you a flag over here in yellow if you had unsigned notes that you needed to come back and sign, so that you'd remember to go back and complete those notes when you have a break. The fields on this note really look a lot like the paperwork we use in the clinic. So you might say subjective, how's your week going? I had a great week. Celebrated holidays. And again, you can tab through fields or click. Successes, avoided the buffet. Challenges, maybe Thanksgiving was difficult. You can select a hunger level if you go over that with the patient. You can ask them how they're sleeping. And then we get into their food plan. And these fields with the icons are fields where you can make them look pretty if you want to. So the field has been pre-populated with the food plan from the last visit. So if nothing has changed from the last visit, you've got no work to do. You can just move on. So this patient they were on 5 packets and 1 bar. Maybe they switched it. Maybe now they're on 3 packets, 1 bar, 1 OptiFast 800. And just like in a word processor, you can use these different icons to make this pretty. For example, I could select it and make it a bullet list if I wanted. Or I could bold something if I wanted that to stand out. And again, anything that you're going to do in these fields will get carried forward on your next note. Similarly, when we come down to store-bought foods, you can leave that alone or you can change it. So maybe we want to say that they are on 2 servings of non-starching vegetables instead of just 1. And maybe we want to make that pretty too. We could turn that into a bullet list if we want. So feel free to play with your editing features. Goodness, if you feel like it, you can spell check your note. Going down from there, we ask how many ounces of water the patient should be drinking on a daily basis. The field for sample day is where you might journal for the patient how their typical day might look. And to make entry into these fields quick and easy, we can populate these pretty text fields with templates. And to access templates, you can come up here and click Templates. And when you click Templates, you're going to get options from template files that we can make and we can edit for what we want. So I created some sample day templates for you to start with. Of course, these can be changed. But this patient's on a modified fast, so we could put in a sample day. Whoop. I'm sorry, not sure why that turned gray. But we can put in a sample day for the modified fast. Maybe they do 1-1. One or something like that. So you can go ahead and populate that, and it's really nice if you want to, when you're inside of this table, maybe the patient wants a printout of that, you could click print and you could print out their sample day for them. So this is a really quick and easy place where you could document in a similar way to how our food plans look what the patient's sample day should look like. And again, we can develop those templates and make them more user-friendly and more pretty as we go, and make sure we include all the information you need and save you from having to type very much. Moving down from sample day, you can document whether the patient's taking a multivitamin, perhaps that we're stocking, or something over the counter, what your activity plan is for the patient. Now keep in mind, this is a very simple spot for an activity plan. We do have a full-featured exercise prescription table that we can use for more detailed exercise planning. And you might notice as you mouse over some of these fields, you get these nice pop-up help boxes. So you can see on the right, it's giving you a little bit more information about this field. Lesson plan, this would be where we document if we gave the patient any educational materials. And if you click and pop up, it automatically selected the last educational material they were given, and it'll check the RD and the MD notes for whatever was the last material. And let's say we want to just give them the next one, we just go up to number 15. So that means that we gave them Enthusiastic Weight Control Part 3. Now keep in mind, if you want to save paper, patients can access our handouts as PDF files from the patient portal in full color and read them on their iPads. So that is true right now for our Keeping It Off series. That is not true right now for OptiFast LES, although we're looking into that and discussing whether we can have those in PDF form for our patients. Goals and expectations, you might list come back 1 week. There's room for you to document anything else you want to document. Flags is a real interesting table. So flags might be, patient prefers Tuesday visits, or only do blood pressure on the left arm, or patient prefers so-and-so dietitian, or patient prefers to be called Fred, or whatever. And so if you enter anything in the flags box, that is going to populate up here into the flags table of the patient chart. We'll talk about how to get in there and edit and change and activate and deactivate flags later. But if you put something in flags, from now on you're going to see that in their chart header right up in the front. So it can serve as a reminder if there's something important you want to include there. Similarly, the staff to do is an area where you can ask the staff to do things. So if you put anything in staff to do, that's going to issue a staff to do that's going to pop up over here in the left menu for the staff that you ask to do it. So for example, You might need the front office to call in the patient's prescription that day. So you could say, please call in patient's appetite suppressant prescription to pharmacy. And you could say that we want that to be done today. So the order date, you just click the calendar. Calendar pops up. Click when you need that to happen. And the person to complete the order. Generally, if you want the front office to complete the order, you want to select front office. You don't want to select the specific front office unless that person's going to be logged in. So in general, if you want to issue a staff to-do to the front office, that's a general to-do, please always select front office. Billing code for the dietitians, we're generally not going to touch that. It's almost always a 97803, but you can select from the new patient or the group code if we're using that. Then there's a few more fields that are worth talking about for a minute. If you mouse over, it gives you some more information. Most of the time when you see a patient, you're not going to need these fields. But let's say you have a patient and you want the doctor or the PA to read over your note, or there's something you want to show us, or for any reason you want us to review the note, the patient has diabetes, or they had a question. Just click on Request Review. And so if you click on Request Review, then that chart's going to pop up in the doctor's and PA's box for us to look at. And we're going to get a yellow flag over here that we have a chart that there's a review requested on. And we're going to go in and we're going to review that chart. When we review the chart, we'll go ahead and put our name, we'll co-sign it, we'll put comments back to you. And then it'll pop up in your menu that you have a chart waiting for review. And after you've reviewed that chart, you'll mark that you've reviewed the comments. So we'll get into that more again a little bit later, but that's, again, just a quick review cycle for you to be able to have your charts come over to the medical staff. In final form, we'll probably hide these fields on the add note, but they'll pop up when you go in to edit and review the note. But I wanted to have them there so you see what's going on. And so when you're all done and satisfied with your note, we're going to want to sign it. So let's go ahead and put in the temporary digital signature I created for this dietitian. And when you sign the note, you got to get your signature right. If it's not your correct digital signature, it will not take the note and it'll ask you to try again. So we'll go ahead and sign off on that note. And it says add succeeded and that note has been done. You can see this note is flagged for a review. It turned red here, and that the review hasn't been done yet. So again, that's just a quick look at how registered dietitian notes work in the Clinical Nutrition Center patient chart. Our next video will take a look at the MD notes, which are pretty similar.